Business and industry non-government part of the global discussion of climate change. In particular, the position occupied by that of multinational energy companies is unique, given that they have largely been the facilitators of global fossil fuel consumption. These non-state actors have significant influence in that they can hold entire nation-states at their will, as a result of the majorative use of their energy products. As such, they can lobby governments the world over to introduce policies in their agenda. Several have argued that instead of continually bashing multinationals, there should be a move in governments promoting a diversification of these companies. With enough direction and encouragement, the market direction will change such that fossil fuel companies will have no choice but to become renewable energy companies. This ensures that there are no sudden market changes which would likely have negative economic consequences. One of the leading examples of this gradual process that can be seen today has been that of Chevron Energy.
Privately run corporations such as Bingo's are controlled by a board of directors, committee members, and the stakeholders of the company. Stakeholders can include Bingo stockholders who have invested financially, or people who will be personally affected by the decisions of Bingo's. As Bingos are accountable to stakeholders and may receive substantial investments from them, the decisions made by Bingos are in direct response to the opinion of the stakeholders. Chevron, for example, has responded to changing consumer demands by creating initiatives to gradually shift towards renewable sources of energy, such as wind and solar power. Within Chevron's board of directors, there are several committees which have specific responsibilities. These committees include the Public Policy Committee, which assesses civil, political, and environmental concerns, and the Board Nominating and Governance Committee, which determines future board members, proposes projects for the board to discuss, and responds to stockholder matters. Despite being non-governmental, Bingos also receive substantial support from the governments of the industries they are located in. This government support can come in the form of subsidies and bailouts, which ensure that if a bingo is faced with financial difficulties, they will be able to remain operational. These government subsidies support the millions of jobs and billions of dollars worth of investments in fossil fuel technology. The amount of financial investment and subsidies provided to bingos is currently significantly more than that of renewable energy sources. A report from the G20 fossil fuel bailout states that in 2013, fossil fuel investments worldwide equated to $1 trillion in 2013, compared to the $250 billion invested in renewable energy sources. Also in 2013, $775 billion were provided as subsidies for fossil fuel companies around the world, while renewable energy was subsidized with only $250 billion.
Bingos such as Australia's Chevron support the gradual transition towards renewable energy in the form of natural gas. Chevron supports the policy of the APPEA, the Australian Petroleum Production and Exploration Association, which advocates to increase the supply of natural gas for electrical power generation to thereby reduce emissions from Australia's electrical supply sector. The policy also works to expand the use of natural gas for the domestic economy, which will reduce emissions in the processing of said resources. A few stakeholders such as the Environmental Defence Fund and Sierra Club support the same initiative with varying degrees. The Environmental Defence Fund is a non-profit advocacy group that affiliates itself with the transition from fossil fuels to natural gas. EDF's initiative is in finding solutions to uncombustible natural gas and detecting methane pollution through modern sensor technologies. Sierra Club similarly supports the push for clean renewable energy in the form of natural gas and have already retired over 150 coal-fired plants across America. Sierra Club has also been protesting against fracking, which is the process of drilling into the earth and injecting water and other chemicals to release gas. This is an issue on many fronts because carcinogens may leak and contaminate water beneath the Earth's surface and contributes to small tremors. Privatizing renewable energy as a bingo's proposal to phasing out coal-based power plants is a sensible one. Australian state governments have considered privatising energy programs since the 90s and is a great solution to stabilising energy prices from the government monopoly over fixed capital costs. While arguments have been raised that privatising NGOs will have negative connotations for the economy because of alleged fake power outages, privatised NGOs' incentive is to make a profit by reducing costs where possible and keeping prices low. In supporting this point, the privatisation of organisations will increase competitiveness in the market, which will spur efficiency of natural gas production and distribution.
Although the impact from bingos is high, the demand for this use of fossil fuels was exponential. It is crucial as business and industry that all choices be made in the best interest of stakeholders. Though many CEOs may have wanted to push for environmental change, providing the best outcome for the stakeholder remains the priority. While detrimental to the environment, the impact of using these fossil fuels created many of the luxuries and benefits in society today, such as travel, acquisition of worldwide products, and public infrastructure. This notion is vital, as without the advancements in travel and communication, the globalization of the world would have been vastly slower, allowing less cultural influences and material influences to affect how we perceive the world today. Without the use of these fossil fuels, developments to benefit human society would have been drastically lacking. Furthermore, without the use of fossil fuels in the past, technology would not have entered a rapid acceleration stage necessary for the growth we see today. Economies around the world would struggle without the massive industry of fossil fuels generating wealth and jobs. Some societies majorly rely on these fossil fuels to generate income, allowing for an economy which otherwise has little resources to generate large amounts of income. To revoke the use of fossil fuels for these developing countries would lead to a plethora of issues involving the economy of the country, as they rely on production to create jobs and rely on the purchase of these goods to create wealth. While bingos have the largest impact on climate change, it is important to understand that this impact was facilitated by societal ones, lack of alternatives, and the value of fossil fuels. The impact is rationalised by the benefits which came from it. However, these benefits have lowered in value, and a gradual movement towards renewable energy is essential to ensure economic and environmental stability.
The current solutions of climate change are mainly transferring to renewable energy and transitioning the way of economic development. However, the cost of new energy and the rapid closure of traditional industries are leading to big problems in the economy and in people's lives. The last few years saw a huge decline in traditional industries. According to the report of Chevron Corporation, there was a loss of $725 million for the first quarter of 2016, compared with earnings of $2.6 billion in the 2015 quarter. Also, another example would be to take a look at Whyalla, the local steelworks which is currently in debt by more than $4 billion and is currently on the edge of closing down. This would cause the loss of 3,000 direct jobs and would have a significant impact on the 22,000 residents of the town. The industry plays an important role in people's lives, which is why when dealing with climate change we cannot blindly discard all the traditional industries, as doing so would be like discarding all the people who work in these businesses and their families, which, according to Mr. Antonio, the current acting mayor of Whyalla, said, is simply not an option. Yet bingos do have large concerns about global warming. As is shown by a report in Burke, Hyeongsang, and Meigel in Nature, global warming might reduce the average global income by roughly 23% by the year 2100. The community would likely be suffering a tremendous loss in regards to economical matters if something was not done with the climate, which is why we are as keen and sincere as every other stakeholder in solving this important issue.
The best solution to climate change is using renewable energy to replace fossil fuels gradually. For example, we can use renewable energy including solar panels and wind turbines. Comparing between renewable energy and fossil fuels, renewable energy is cleaner and more environmental, but fossil fuels will probably pollute the air and may cause global warming by emitting greenhouse gas. However, we hope to protect the environment, but Bingos is a business company. It is hard for us to replace immediately. Abbas Kahla and Gahan states that fossil fuels is still the main energy used in the world and renewable energy still occupies a small percentage. We decide to use renewable energy to replace fossil fuels gradually by guaranteeing economic benefit at the same time. Now I would like to talk about the specific method of using renewable energy to replace fossil fuels gradually. Firstly, we can take out some funds from the profit of company to develop solar panel technology and wind turbines technology. Secondly, we can use solar panel and wind turbines to partly replace fossil fuels. Sahin says that the wind energy is a kind of clean, economical, and environmental friendly energy. The efficiency of solar panel and wind turbines is higher than that of fossil fuels under the condition of sovereign sunlight and wind, which can improve the profit of the business company. Storsky also states that the cost of producing renewable energy declined by increasing the technology. Thirdly, we can use some of the profit to make more studies of the technology of solar panel and wind turbines. Finally, we need to repeat above-mentioned steps for contributing to the technology of solar panel and wind turbine, replacing fossil fuels in large percentage, which successfully protects the environment and improves the profit of companies.
Thank you for listening.